Hello, good to have you here. I'm just going to give it a few more seconds before I kick off. Usually a few latecomers with these things. Can I just stress to you now that this webinar is 100% live if and only if you are listening now, and that now is at 7:02 p.m. and counting GMT on Monday, the 10th of February, 2020. If you are hearing this at any other time, it's because we decided that it was worth putting the recording out for those people who wanted to jump in, but for whatever reason couldn't. So I hope that's clear, and let's crack on. Firstly, let me say many thanks for taking the time out of your day to join me. I want to try and convey the message that it's great for you and for me that you are thinking about applying to the BML Coaching online transformation program, with our flagship program having the primary goal of helping you add a minimum of 10 kilograms of muscle in 100 days, and to also help you foster a new positive mindset accompanied with a huge increase in self-confidence, self-belief and self-esteem, and a positivity which you probably never thought possible, setting in motion many remarkable changes in your life on the whole. And all this, should you choose it, from the comfort of your own home. If you are still at the stage where the thought of training in public in your local gym is too overwhelming, too scary, or just not for you at this time for whatever reason. Now, I'm guessing you're most likely here because you're a guy who was born as an ectomorph. That is, a guy with a small, skinny physique, childlike strength, and lacking any sort of muscular definition. And you want to add some muscle to your frame. Most likely, too, you want to learn more about why you are the person you are today and look at ways to improve your outlook, to try to look at things in a more productive and positive way, and to rid yourself of the feelings of inadequacy, of uncertainty, and if you are anything like me, then of jealousy too. And once and forevermore, get the issues of you not being who you really want to be resolved in order for you to reach your true full potential, to look like the absolute dog's bollocks, and to begin to embrace life, to start grabbing at all of the opportunities that come your way. But for far too long now, you have been too scared to take them. In this webinar, I am revealing to you everything you need to learn with the exact path that will transform you. And I promise I won't talk about everything but the relevant stuff, as many webinars do. You're probably wondering, is this worth your time? Well, here's what you could do. You could listen to some Netflix or look at some funny clips on Instagram or YouTube. You could scroll through your Facebook news feed or whatever might give you some instant gratification, but probably not that much value. Or you can listen to this training where I will show you step by step the exact way in which you can efficiently add muscle to your body and set in place a permanent shift in your mindset so that the process becomes a lifestyle and not just a phase, but a complete change in your behavior. All of that will be covered in this webinar. You're also possibly thinking about what I'll be pitching to you, because someone always pitches you in a webinar. You see, if you're living with what I refer to as SMS, that's skinny man syndrome, which I did for most of my life, I know that you're probably stuck where you were a year ago. Think about it. What have you changed in the last 12 months that has significantly benefited you and the way you live your life? I'm going to put my neck on the line and say, for most of you guys listening, if you're being completely honest with yourself, then maybe not much has really changed in that time. For many of you, if you are like I was, then possibly not much in the last 3 to 5 years, maybe even longer. And that is exactly why I built a VIP fitness and behavior change program in which I coach my unique total body and mind optimization training system, which I call TBMOT, to solve the problem of how to add muscle efficiently when you're a naturally skinny guy or a guy who struggles to get any muscular definition and would prefer to work out in private and not to have to go to the gym 5 or 6 days a week. If you are like I was, again, then you may have already had numerous goes at adding muscle to your frame. All of those efforts being more or less total failures, forgetting about the muscle memory aspect. And if that is the case, it probably left you wondering if your body is just incapable of developing muscle. I know it did to me. And then when you hear that you, excuse me, you have to eat 4,000 calories each day and every day to have any chance of growing when fairly regularly you just don't feel that hungry. Well, for me, all hope had more or less completely gone at that point. That wasn't until I changed the way I lived my life. I studied, I experimented, and finally I concluded that skinny guys absolutely, categorically can add muscle and keep it just like everyone else if they know what to do without having to train 3 hours, 6 days a week and eat mountains and mountains of food. Which is exactly why I created and then improved and developed our programs. And by the way, in this webinar, I will be talking about our Platinum VIP 16-week program. But we do run another 16-week program, which is the Silver Premium. And we run 2 6-week programs, the Gold Accelerator and the Standard Accelerator. So we can provide a wide scope of services and detail to those who want it and fit with our selection criteria. The TBMOT system also works on levels of self-confidence, self-worth and self-esteem, and starts showing how an open mindset can lead to massive differences in a person's life and positively impact their productivity, their mood, their interactions, and so much more. However, I am, and I have to be, very selective on who I coach. I have to be, as I just can't help everybody. If I think you're a good fit, and when we speak, you will be personally invited to join us. And if not, I'm still going to show you in this webinar exactly what you need to do to get some awesome results. So yes, I am going to make you an offer to apply to the program right at the very end of the webinar, but it's because if you are a guy who needs it, then I truly want to be able to be the catalyst to turn your body, your mind and your life upside down and make your entire existence so much more rewarding, fulfilled and enjoyable. Don't be one of those guys who are so afraid of trying something new and then failing that they forget about actually living. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Miles Cuthbert, and unlike many webinars, I am now going to tell you a bit about me, rather than tell you that I won't bore you with my story and then boring you with my story for the next 15 minutes or so. And the reason, I do believe it's hugely relevant to why I believe that I am the top guy in my field and why I am more suited to train you than just about anyone else on the planet, assuming you're a man with SMS, skinny man syndrome. I'm a coach who specializes in helping guys in their 30s and 40s who have either probably struggled in the past to add muscle to their physique or have never had the courage to give it a go, to once and for all understand how to change their bodies in the way they want to and to look unbelievably great, often significantly better than they did when they're in their 20s, which will then inevitably have huge impacts on numerous other areas of their lives in a 100% positive way. And if you look good and you feel good, when you feel good, you have more positive thoughts. When your thinking is positive, your actions reflect this, and so your behaviors change for the better. It really isn't rocket science when you know what you're doing. I was and always will be a naturally skinny guy. I think you can see that. But from as far back as I can recall, I always loved sports and exercise and played a number of sports to a relatively high standard as a kid. I went to university to do a sports studies degree, as at that time in my life I wanted to get into sports psychology. However, after successfully completing my degree, which was a complete shock because I hadn't really gone to any lectures, I think most students probably don't, life sort of got in the way of my dreams and I went down a completely different path to the one I'd envisaged. Some of this was okay, a lot of it, to be fair, really bad. But now I can look back on those times and realise that all of my mistakes and failings have made me the person that I am today, and my vast spectrum of experiences have definitely made me a much better coach. About 7 years ago, feeling pretty demoralised and uninspired and suffering from a relatively mild form of depression after working in a number of different jobs, from computer programming to driving instruction, none of which I ever really liked, and being a chronic drug addict for over 15 years, I decided that enough was enough. I had to change. I knew I wanted to lead a more fulfilling and productive life, and in order to do so, I needed to earn a living doing something that I truly believed in. So I would always give 100%, something that would keep me busy and on the straight and narrow, and something that would keep challenging me to grow and improve, so that I could finally realise my full potential and give everything I had to whatever profession I chose. My love of exercise and physical activity had never gone, though my lifestyle through the years, admittedly, it had been put on the back burner. And it became obvious to me to qualify as a personal trainer so that I could be involved in helping other people reap the enjoyment and rewards that I felt during and after exercising. So I did this. And within a few weeks of qualifying, found myself working the gym floor in a local leisure centre. Being an employee, I was simply told who to train, and so at that time I was working with all sorts of people. It was during these first few months that I had my first sort of big revelation. I noticed that a few of my clients and a significant proportion of other trainers' clients would train well for a month, 6 weeks, maybe 3 months, possibly sometimes a bit longer. But eventually, for whatever reason, they quit. And then the question was why? So after many hours of reading, of talking, and most importantly, listening, I discovered that a pattern emerged. It was nearly always due to the client's lack of clarity into what they were trying to achieve and their high levels of confusion surrounding their varying workout routines, their unrealistic expectations and complications with their new diet, together with a closed, unproductive mindset. They'd created an inaccurate picture in their head of what their training program would be like, and hadn't taken the time to sit down with their trainer to really have a think about what would be asked of them, how they would cope, and how it would make them feel. It became absolutely glaringly obvious to me that in order to create a really top-class fitness program for a client, I needed to include behavior change. This meant I had to learn about the way the mind works, as it was the limitations people put on themselves that were making them quit, not the actual training itself. And so that's exactly what I did. About 6 months later, and by now getting very interested in some of the social sciences, it became glaringly obvious again to me that my dream job wasn't quite working out to be my dream job. And why? The simple reason, forgive me if you're an ex-client of mine, was that I couldn't find much drive or motivation to work with certain people. In fact, after only a few months, I had made a decision that the people who I really want to help with, because I personally had experienced the specific problems and the specific pain associated with their issues, were guys exactly like me. My vision was to help the skinny, weak guys, the guys with no muscular definition, the guys lacking in confidence, and self-esteem, the ones who don't make the most of their lives, but the ones who were now ready to change, and help them to change into completely superior versions of themselves, muscular, confident, and ready to face life head on. I wanted to help those people as I knew the huge impact, massive, becoming a better version of myself had both physically and mentally, improving and enriching numerous facets of my life as a whole. You may be wondering, what are my qualifications and why you should listen to me? Well, I have spent over 5 years developing and building this system, the Total Body and Mind Optimisation Training System. I've spent thousands, I dread to think, of pounds honing my craft, becoming possibly the specialist in this field. I'm not just a qualified fitness instructor and personal trainer, I'm also a certified online trainer, something many people, both trainers and clients, seem to overlook. I'm an NLP practitioner, a CBT practitioner, together with significant experience as a life coach. But perhaps most importantly, though, and I truly believe 100%, this is what makes me a truly elite coach and perfectly positioned to coach the type of client that I do, and that's this. Excuse me. I've lived through the problems and experienced all of the pain associated with living with SMS, skinny man syndrome, you should know by now, and have found the path to finally solve the distinct issues for guys like me. I'm here to help you change the way you set limits on your life, to change the way you view yourself, your relationships, and the world around you, to radically improve the shape of your body, and to help you make these recently acquired behaviors permanent, resulting in a new, invigorating and rewarding lifestyle. As tacky as it may sound, I want to help you move out of the shadows and into the light, and finally become the man you want to be. So on today's training, you'll be learning about my TBMOT system, and it's broken down into 4 key steps. Step 1, assessments and goal setting. Step 2, shift mindset. Step 3, take action with focused training, BML power and hench training, and BML mindset training. And finally, educate and support is step 4. The first in the total body step, in the total body and mind optimization training system, is assessment and goal setting. We need to establish exactly where you are today regarding both your physical and mental states. We then have a starting point and can begin to identify the specific areas that you want to improve. We will set out your short, medium, and possibly even a couple of long-term goals for the months ahead. Without knowing where you start your journey, it is really completely impossible to create a unique program designed just for you, as we haven't got a detailed understanding of exactly where you're at. Think of it a bit like this. If you ask someone how to get to place A, and they ask you where you are starting from, and you reply that you don't know, how can they ever give you accurate instructions on how to get to your desired destination? They can't. And that principle applies here too. But once we know where you are, we can then much more accurately design the program around meeting your exact objectives and take you from present state to your desired state as efficiently as possible. The objectives or goals we set will always be what we call SMART goals and hard goals, and will lay down the foundations for your upcoming transformation. We stretch and grow when our reach extends beyond our immediate grasp. Now, I know having a body like Arnold Schwarzenegger did back in the day is probably right on the limit of what is possible for a guy like you or me, but not impossible if we don't set limits on our thoughts and our behaviours. But one thing that Arnie and me do have in common is our shared belief in the importance of having specific goals to work towards. He says, and I quote, "The most important thing is that you have a vision, that you have a goal, because without that goal and without that vision, you're drifting around and you're never going to end up anywhere. People don't become successful just by accident." Goals give you long-term vision and short-term motivation. They focus your acquisition of knowledge and help you to organize your time and your resources so that you can make the most of, of the very most of your life. And this is of huge importance when you're making significant commitments and an attempt to force your life into an upward trajectory. The only limits to what you can achieve exist in your head. Remove them and the sky really is the limit. Ironically, many people are more intimidated by short-term failure, i.e. not achieving a goal they set, than reaching a future stage in life having accomplished nothing that was meaningful to either themselves or other people. Think about it. Which really is worse? Having particular targets to work towards as clarity and certainty guarantees that we are pulling in the same direction and means that there can be no confusion down the line about whether or not the program has been a success. We'll literally be able to look and see how far you have come. The final part of this stage is to determine what obstacles you're likely to face and then devise the relevant coping strategies so that you're in the absolute best position to begin your program. It really does baffle me when fitness programs just jump in on day one with your workout and nutrition without ever taking the time to find out where you are, what makes you tick, and how we can use that as a driving force and a motivation to finally help you achieve what you've set yourself to achieve. Without stage one, the assessments and goal setting, it'd be a bit like the blind leading the blind. Not only would I have no idea of what you want to get from the program, I would have no idea of how you view yourself, the position that you're currently in, and when and where you would like to finish. You would start a workout regime without any real aims other than to get bigger at some point in the future. You'd have no way of knowing how you were doing and whether you were hitting your targets, because you wouldn't have set any, and you'd be completely unprotected from the bumps in the road that you'll inevitably face along the way. Without stage one, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because most of these people don't have this step sorted, as they begin a new fitness regime, they often experience that feeling of being isolated and confused with life just passing them by, and they have no real way of stopping this. I've been there. I know exactly what it feels like to just exist. I stayed in that stagnant place for many years, but fortunately I finally fought my way out. Without setting goals, it's inevitable that you won't maximize your potential and you'll move from one lackluster effort to another. But in order to set goals, you need courage and faith, but that's probably not something that you have had much of, and this creates a big problem. But that's exactly why this program was developed, to help with issues just like this. and I'm pretty sure that your confidence isn't as high as you would like it to be, and your life suffers as a result. You don't know the best way to get your body looking the way you want it to. And even if you did, how will you know if you are making appropriate progress? You feel lost, you feel stuck, and you don't know what advice is worth listening to. And this makes you feel isolated and dejected. Feelings of desperation kick in, and that's when hope tends to die and you fall back into your dismal, mediocre, mundane life, just getting by, while lots of other people around you are making the most out of every opportunity life gives them. Wouldn't you like that to be you? Well, with some drive and commitment that admittedly must come from you, it can be, and it's as simple as that. This step is the foundational soil. This step is the foundational soil which we will help you to build upon. Once we have assessed where you are, where you want to go, and worked out how you'll get there, the assessment and goal setting stage draws to a conclusion. However, continual assessments of your progress and re-evaluating and resetting your short-term goals is an ongoing process, and one that will make reaching your objectives seem far less overwhelming and much more achievable. So, to sum up step one, these are the things you will do. You will complete an assessment which will delve into where you currently are, both physically and emotionally. You will begin to understand why you are where you are and the associated behaviours that got you there. We will also figure out what drives you and what resonates with you at a really deep level in order to keep you motivated and to give you focus when things get tough. You will then think about where you want to be when the 100 days is up in more detail. The 10 kilograms of lean muscle is given, assuming you follow the program, and consequently establish smart and hard goals that you're setting both in the short and medium term. Once that is done, you will then use your own experiences mixed with our experiences to help you forecast the likely stumbling blocks that you'll face during your time in the program. And knowing the possible obstacles will create the relevant coping strategies so that your progress is minimally affected should you hit a problem. During the first 12 days, this is before the 100, you will also take the time to record everything that you eat in 7 successive days so that when your training begins, we will be able to advise you on your diet. The second stage is known as mindset shift, shifting your mindset. This is concerned with ensuring that you have the right mindset that you'll need to achieve the primary outcome of the program, adding 10 kilograms of muscle to your body. We use what is known as the BML Coaching mindset technique, which is a combination of NLP, CBT, life coaching, and personal experience, plus a fair amount of common sense, and has had dramatic effects on the way my clients think and behave, both short, medium, and long term. With the wrong attitude or a lack of understanding as to why you want to improve your body and mind, so in other words, your entire existence, it would be very easy to come unstuck very quickly. If you're not driven or you lack the understanding of what truly motivates you, getting through those cold winter training days is going to be a real test. And with the wrong mindset, a test that you're most likely to fail. We no longer want you living with a victim's mindset, blaming others for your mundane life and skinny body, and we aim to make procrastination a thing of the past, encouraging you to constantly be taking positive and productive action. It is vitally important that you are motivated by factors that actually resonate with you on a deep level and aren't simply a whim or a passing desire. When we take the time to identify the things that are driving you forward, the high levels of motivation that are an absolute must for the program will come from a place deep within you, from a place where you really care about hitting your targets. We help you to stop procrastinating, but instead to take positive action. Consequently, reaching the short-term goals we set in stage 1 will feel like a challenge you are ready for and determined to succeed at. You'll be given some simple tasks to complete in the first 12 days of the program in order to ensure that when you start the workouts, you understand and are beginning to adopt the required mindset. And as with stage 1, which we will keep reevaluating, stage 2 is exactly the same. We will continue to help you not only maintain this positive winner type mindset, so crucial to your success, but also to build upon it until it becomes second nature. This really will have a massive impact on all aspects of your life. Tacky as it may sound, the possibilities for you are endless. Think about this. And keep in mind that this is one of the major factors that makes the BML Coaching online transformation program not only better, but also very different from nearly all other fitness programs in the marketplace today. Rather than purely training your body and hoping you'll have the right mindset, we work on your body and your mind to encourage permanent behavior change and new habits for life, and don't just give you a motivational quote once every few days. It's a lot more than that. Our program is leaps ahead of most in terms of its detail, but also in its simplicity. Again, if you know what you're doing, a combination you'll rarely find and which is usually a sign of genius. By the way, those are the words of a renowned forensic psychiatrist, A.J. Strickman, an ex-client of mine. With all the training DVDs available to buy today and all the Instagram and YouTube clips showing beefy guys and beautiful women and their training techniques, the world is inundated, absolutely bogged down with info on how to train. So with that being the case, why is there a huge obesity crisis in the world, and why do less than 10% of people say they actually like their body? It doesn't make sense until you take a look a bit deeper and realize that the best ever training video is only the best ever training video if the person who bought it actually watches it, understands it, and carries out its instruction to the letter every day that they should. As soon as they start missing days, which more than likely they will if they haven't forged the necessary mindset, the change they hope to see in their body are never going to take place. As a result, motivation starts to drop, excuses start to come into play, and before you know it, the DVD is put back in a cupboard, never to see the light of day again, or they possibly may watch a session from the comfort of their armchair at best to make them feel good, you know. And this is most commonly due to the wrong attitude, having recurring destructive behaviors which haven't been identified but which continually sabotage progress and personal growth. When you shift your mindset to a place of positivity, of accountability, of determination and of growth, you can start to see amazing things happen. Think of it a bit like this. Would you get your car all glitzed and glammed up with new wheels, an awesome body kit, racing seats, the best sound system available, and then place a child's go-kart engine in it? No, it just wouldn't make sense. And that's what I'm saying about trying to change yourself on the outside if you don't also sort out what's going on the inside. You see, currently, if you're anything like I was, what you're doing is living your life with a closed mindset, and you're not open to new ideas, and you're stuck in the same place that you were, as we said earlier, 6 months, a year, or longer ago. And I did exactly the same thing for more years than I care to remember. And that's why your life hasn't moved on. Again, I was exactly the same. I lived my life blaming other people for my sorry existence, cursing my luck and having the victim's mindset. It wasn't until I had some counselling and then started learning about the effect that the mind can have on the way we choose to live that I began to change the way I thought about things and how I chose to lead my life. With the right mindset, the possibilities really are endless. New opportunities will start to present themselves as you begin to open yourself up to the possibilities around you. It's like taking off a pair of blinkers and for the first time in a long time, finally seeing that there is light and everything, after all, is not all dark and scary. Not blaming others for your lack of success, but taking responsibility and being accountable for your own actions is a massive sign of maturity and always strive for in our programs. The new frame of mind you will have you feeling more positive from day to day, and many clients state that they feel an increase in energy levels too. And with your goal set and the initial signs of a shift in your mindset, you'll feel like you are finally moving forward in your life in a direction that you actually chose to go, and this will benefit you in so many other different ways. One of the major commonalities amongst successful people when they started their journey is that they admit to changing their mindset. They began to really believe in themselves, and as they did this, they started to see success, and the more success, the more belief, the better the mindset, the common snowball effect. When you take ownership of your life and categorically know that how it runs its path is not a matter of luck, but nearly all down to the way you think and then act, you're moving in the right direction. And in our programs, we help you to start believing in yourself, help you to be open to fresh ideas and start identifying the negative behaviors caused by your old mindset that have stopped you from growing as a person, both physically and mentally. Because you operate on a day-to-day basis under this closed negative victims mindset, you miss or refuse the opportunities to grow as a person and stay stuck in the same place. If you could only adopt a different way to think about yourself, you could start achieving some really special things. But until you commit to change, you'll remain in the same place. Now, that isn't the easy option, I admit. It's where you are most comfortable in this same place because you've lived there for so long, even though you claim you don't like it. Changing how you behave can be scary, but if you finally decide to grab the bull by the horns and commit to take life head on, you'll start to accept new challenges and try new things, which opens you up. This means you're quite likely to fail at the start, aren't you? But one thing I can guarantee, if you don't open your mind and you continue to lack the courage to try new things, to worry about failing, then you are absolutely 100% guaranteed to never ever succeed. And I'm guessing that you don't want that, do you? After all, this life of ours isn't a dress rehearsal. When you start to shift your mindset, you will begin to look at your life in a different way. The more of a growth mindset you can take on, the more you'll grow as a person and see opportunities as things to be excited about and not things to shy away from. When you understand that failing is just a type of learning and not something negative, providing that you don't give up, and accept that you are going to fail because failure is inevitable, everyone fails from time to time, you'll be able to take on new challenges with a refreshing, positive and creative attitude and vigor without the damaging voice in your head asking, what if you fail? Or what if it makes you look stupid? Or I don't think you can do this. And this is stopping you having a go. So inside of step 2, shift mindset, you will need to be open to new ideas. You will start to let the uncontrollable things in your life affect you less as you begin to accept that there is absolutely nothing that you can do about them anyway. What you can control is how much effort you put in. And if you always try as hard as possible, then you'll see that there is no reason for regret or self-criticism, even if you fail from time to time, which you will. And whoever it said that you learn more from your failures than from your successes was a very wise person indeed. So to summarize step 2, you're going to start shifting the way you view yourself, your relationships and the world around you, to start fostering a new, positive, open and productive mindset. No longer will you put your mundane and boring life and skinny physique down to bad luck. You'll begin to take responsibility for what happens. Understand that the more you put in, generally will mean the more you'll get out. And as a result, you will actually start to accomplish some of your goals that we set out in step 1. This changing mindset will have real advantages in your life away from the program 2. Think about how different your working life could be if you decided to behave in a more productive and positive way. No doubt your colleagues would notice this, and it can only be to your benefit. Perhaps more job opportunities, more job satisfaction, and who knows, maybe even a more senior role, a bigger salary. And don't think this is mumbo jumbo. I know of numerous instances where this has happened, and there's no reason why it can't happen to you too. And it's the same with your relationships as well. A new, confident, proactive and happy version of yourself can only help you strengthen your friendships. Step 3 in the BML Coaching and Total Body and Mind Optimization training system is what we call focus training. Focus training is so called because it consists of 3 key components, all centered on focus, and is absolutely critical in determining how successful a client is. First off is the focus you need to place on each and every rep in each and every set to get the absolute max of every ounce of effort in every workout you do. Secondly, the focus we help you establish before you start your session, so you know exactly what you are going to do and where your focus lies on that particular day. And finally, the crystal clear focus you keep on where this training session puts you in the bigger picture. Believe it or not, and this is a very useful psychological tool, simply the fact that we call our training focus training immediately helps the client's mind to keep their concentration on the job in hand, not letting their mind wander, but focusing so they don't go into a dream world or start thinking about what they have for supper or whatever, and therefore losing intensity, and as a consequence, losing efficiency and ultimately taking longer to achieve the same result. In this step, I've just put that slide up on purpose as well early, that one, so I want you to look at it. In this step, we always follow the philosophy, particularly at the start of the program, of keep it simple. Too much information is totally pointless and will inevitably lead to confusion, to lack of clarity, and the likely result of this is a huge drop in motivation levels due to this blurred vision. We try to keep things crystal clear at all times and stay away from this confusion by ensuring you are 100% clear and content with your workouts, striving to drip feed you only the relevant info as and when you need it, so as to never overwhelm you with unnecessarily bump. Unlike a lot of programs, and this is why I put that slide up, we are not about information. If you want information, you can go online. We are solely about transformation. So please always keep in mind, we are here to transform you and not to just inform you. And there is a huge difference between the two, but this difference is one a lot of programs simply don't seem to recognize. So I just shoved that slide in again because I can't stress this point enough. The whole emphasis of BML coaching is transformation and not information. As I say, if you wanted information, you can go online and find out most of the stuff you want. That's a picture, isn't it? Step 3 is the time when we will start you on your actual workouts and advise you on your nutrition. And it was this part of the program, I'll go back to that one, sorry, that took the most developing. My aim was to see if the muscle development that our flagship program guarantees, and it does guarantee this, could be achieved at home with the bare essentials. Now I could go to that one, couldn't I? There we go. Could be achieved at home with the bare essentials of weightlifting equipment as compared to a well-equipped public gym with contemporary weight machines. So I literally had just a bench, as you can see. That's what I've got now. I've had that for that's all I've used to train in the last 24 months nearly. A bench, a barbell, some dumbbells, some disc weights, obviously, some bands, a pull-up bar, an ab roller, and a gym ball. And that's about it. That is it, in fact, I think. So the photos is of what I am still using today, and I still well, I can explain, and I'm still adding muscle at a very acceptable rate, and so I can hand on heart, and I promise you my hand is now on my heart, tell you 100% God's honest truth, I haven't been inside a proper gym for well over 18 months, but I am now 33%, just over in fact, 33% heavier than when I started. I think I started on 61. I'm now about 85 kilos. So, and that's all I've used. 100% truth. Nothing fancy at all. So I began testing my training techniques at home using the cheapest equipment. You can see that is not expensive equipment. It's the plastic or cement filled weights. They're very cheap. And I reckon in all my total expenditure was, I don't know, 150 quid. And you could probably get a similar collection on eBay or some other equally good auction site, secondhand for considerably less. And to be fair, you have to keep changing the discs over, but you could probably do it with a few less, I guess. To start with anyway, definitely. My goal, and I'm sure yours too, is not to be a bodybuilder or a strongman. We simply want a body that we can be proud of, enables us to wear any style of clothes at any time and look good in them, means that we can get out into the hustle and bustle of life rather than hiding away from it. No, we won't be pushed around physically, and finally, let's be honest, a physique that the ladies are going to admire is a bonus, and believe me, from personal experience, the better your physique, the more female company you'll have should you want it. So if you do want it, I promise it increases with your efforts. So whether you want to train in the gym, or, which some of my clients do admittedly, or you feel more comfortable training at home, and that, as I say, is why I prove to myself over and over that you can do with just this bare selection of weights. Whether at gym or home, providing you have the most basic of weights, the choice is yours, and you will not suffer in all your efforts to gain muscle. And until, well, as I say, I'm still going at a good rate, and I'm up to 33% of my original body weight, and I've just trained from home. So it goes without saying that if you are an ectomorph, that is a person with a lean and delicate build of body. And if you don't do too much physical activity, or perhaps more specifically, don't partake in resistance training, and if you don't eat a massive amount of food, as you often don't feel particularly hungry, it doesn't take a genius to realize that it probably isn't worth entering Mr. Universe or the world's strongest man anytime soon. You will inevitably have a very skinny and frail physique, probably pale as well if you're like me. No muscular definition, childlike strength, and this often leads to low levels of self-esteem and decreasing levels of confidence and increasing levels of stress and resentment. But working together, we can change that. Steps 1 and 2 will continue to change organically as you change as a man, and will have put you in a position where you are absolutely crystal clear on what your goals are, how you'll achieve them, and what you'll do if you start to struggle. Your shifting mindset will allow you to look at the present and the future in a more positive way, and to completely understand, and perhaps more importantly, fully believe that the past is the past and has no influence on your future. Your growing self-belief, confidence and clarity will mean that productivity in the gym or at home, wherever you do it, is maximized, because you are completely understand what you need to do and have the required focus, drive and determination to do it. We will introduce you to the physical part of the TB-MOT system, which we call BML Power and BML Hench Training Systems. Most clients experience increases in their appetites after only a couple of weeks, but do always keep in mind that every single man and body is different and develops at a different speed. So if something that I've said, if you remember this webinar and you're on the program and you're saying, oh, you said that everyone's different, but the end result will be the same, and that's where we guarantee it. So increased appetite along with big jumps in strength and rapid muscle development, quite often in the early weeks, which does obviously help with motivation. So without even working on your mind, just when you see your body growing, it's easy to see why levels of confidence do start to rise, while your levels of stress begin to fall, and after all, your body will begin to look more like, well, start to look more like you want it to, and that alone fires up confidence and reduces anxiety. All in all, a great way to start moving forwards. Your workouts and nutrition guides will be delivered to you at the start of each week through our unique BML Coaching Fitness app, which we've had designed. It's amazing. It will show you what exercises to do on any given day, how many sets and reps to do, and the form you should be trying to replicate as you do them. Every single exercise has a set of guidelines for you to familiarize yourself with, and also a video demonstrating how to perform the exercise so that you are fully aware of what to do, even if you have done very little or even no resistance training, that's training with weights, before. As you will have gathered by now, every single exercise in the program will be done either with free weights, an exercise ball, bands, a pull-up bar, or simply with your body weight. And don't worry, if you don't have all the aforementioned equipment, providing you have some of the kit, a program can be developed around what you have, and the results will still be great. Being flexible and adapting is part of what makes our programs excel. If you have any questions about any of the exercises, you must let us know before you start your workouts so that we can clear up any confusion and provide you with absolute clarity from the word go. In the first 3 weeks of your focus training, you'll be doing your power training phase 1. Now this aims to increase your strength as quickly as possible using the main compound lifts, although not perhaps the ones you might think if you know a bit about it. With a few tweaks, admittedly, as I say, it's not just box straightforward stuff, to prepare you for hench training phase A. As I said before, we will continue to work on your mindset. In this first power training phase, we look at this is with the mindset stuff, recurring behaviors that sabotage your progress and growth, and clear them out using a variety of techniques. Once we hit weeks 4 to 8, you are in hench training phase A. That is maximizing muscle growth in your workouts and working on your mind to help you develop a sharp focus on your goals and ensuring that you are operating at your maximum levels. In weeks 9 and 10, we jump back into power training phase 2, where we once again look to boost your strength as quickly as possible, so that hench training phase B in weeks 11 to 14 is totally optimized. We will also be showing you ways to anchor your newly found positivity and growth mindset that will continue to open doors for you throughout the rest of your life. As we reach the end of hench training phase B, we will be ensuring that you're able to hit all of the targets you set in step 1 so that you reach your desired state by the end of the program. During the weeks when you're working out, we will give you advice on your diet. Some of the guys want very detailed plans with all the required nutritional values and macros set out for them to follow to the letter. And if that's you, that's absolutely fine. We can do that. However, some people just want a rough guide about their diet to check that they are getting the correct proportions of protein, carbs, and fats to create a calorific surplus to maximize muscle growth. And again, if you just want some basic guidelines, that's fine too. What you eat is completely up to you. And my diet, while I've been on doing my courses, my programs, has been very easy to follow. I don't eat as much as I wish I could, but I'm still gaining muscle. I'm not gaining fat. I look a lot bigger than I did in my last picture, one I think is back on the slide. I'll put a new one up sometime soon. So as long as you eat as much as you can of healthy, nutritious food, topped up sometimes, and I do use protein powders, that's enough. You don't need to worry about eating huge amounts of food if you don't have a massive appetite. It's not going to be a problem. At BML Coaching, we truly believe that you are very unlikely to get the body of your dreams if you don't change the way you think. That is why we continue to work with you on your mind throughout the program. If we think we can help you optimize the way you think, we will help you and behave and help you understand where to focus. And once you know where to focus and your behavior is right, it follows that your workouts are going to be optimized too. Remember that the difference between who you are and who you want to be is simply what you do. So our power training and hench training phases are designed to absolutely maximize the end result. That is, you finishing up with a body that has at least 10 kilograms more muscle than when you started the program, but also completely different and a way more productive, creative, and open growth mindset. The fact that you can apply what you learn in the program in your real life away from the weights will have a potentially profound impact, whether that be in your professional or personal life. Things that you probably didn't even consider 3 months ago are now things that you see completely differently. And this obviously opens up huge possibilities and opportunities for you. So summing up, sorry, that slide's been up there for a while, that summary one. So to sum up, step 3, BML's focus training. You are going to go through the 2 phases of power training and the 2 phases of hench training. And at the end of the 4 phases, you will look and feel like a completely different man. These 4 phases totally maximize the amount of muscle that you will gain. Also, as I've already stated, alongside the power and hench training sessions, we will be using the BML mindset system to develop the way you think and therefore act, resulting in you maximizing results, achieving all of the goals that you previously set for yourself, and taking you in to unexplored and incredibly exciting new territories in other parts of your life as your body's growth synchronizes with your mind's growth. Finally, we assist you in knowing how to get the most out of your food should you want that help, and tell you if you want about some natural supplements that will help if you want to consume them. Here at BML Coaching, we like to think all in all a pretty comprehensive and complete training system. So, nearly there, guys. On to step 4 in the TB-MOT system. And this step will be in place from day 1. It is our philosophy to educate and support you from the word go. At no time in the program should you feel alone or feel that you're not sure what to do. We aim to lay out in simple terms, ones that you can easily understand, exactly what is required of you and when you need to do it. If at any time you aren't sure what to do, you can contact us through our training app, and we will always respond within 24 hours, often actually much sooner. This means at no time will your progress begin to stall, as whatever issue you have, we will help you resolve it almost instantly. However, this said, we are of the firm belief that being over-reliant on someone or something is never a healthy position to get in, because the moment that you're relying on that thing or person, that as soon as they're not there, then you're stuck. So therefore, though we will always be here to support you, we will also always encourage you, and this happens more and more as you progress through the program, to try and find solutions to your issues with less and less assistance from our end. Your improving mindset will open up new ideas and possibilities that you previously wouldn't have considered, and your problem solving skills as a result are going to be increasing. So by the time you near the end of the program, the chances are you won't need much, most of the guys don't, help from us to sort out any bumps in the road. You'll figure out a solution all by yourself, and that is half the battle. Well, nearly the whole battle, to be fair. The other aspect of step 4 is to continue to educate you in terms of physical training, but also on the mental side too, helping you to understand yourself on a much more congruent and deeper level using techniques from the BML mindset training system. And that in turn will enable you to get the most out of every situation that you're in. Though one of our key philosophies, as I've said before, is to keep things simple, we always do, we still aim to provide you with relevant and useful training techniques and snippets of information to maximize the way you train and the way you think and behave. As each individual has different goals and different issues, our emphasis on education is very far-reaching, and we will only provide things that will improve your specific situation, never information for the sake of it. Our support and education is key to ensuring that you complete the program and make the most out of every opportunity. As I've mentioned, the best training in the world is only the best training if it's completed every time it should be. And with this step in place, any struggles that you start to experience, whether that be lack of motivation, maybe you're finding it hard to fit your workouts in as life is getting in the way, or whatever, we will be with you every step of the way, helping you to find the answers to your problems. On the BML coaching program, we don't tell you what workouts to do and then leave you to it. We'll always have your back, and we pride ourselves on it. At BML Coaching, we truly believe that when you understand who you are and where you want to go, when you start shifting the way you think into a much more productive, positive and creative way, and become open to new ideas, whilst also being continually supported and educated on the things relevant to your progress and development, the workout part of the program becomes so much easier to complete. The combination of steps 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the BML Coaching TB-MOT training system add up to possibly the most comprehensive and most effective, most importantly, training program available in the marketplace today for men in their 30s and 40s of non-muscular shape, skinny physique, who want to add significant muscle to their body whilst at the same time generating a new mindset and a far more productive and positive way of thinking. So, a quick recap of everything we've covered today. Step 1, assessments and goal setting, where you find out where you are, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there. Step 2 is beginning to shift your mindset. In other words, to start thinking in terms that will benefit you and not hinder you and hold you back. Step 3 is taking action on your body from your up nutrition levels and during your workouts using our focused training, whether that's at home or in the gym. But remember, every single exercise in any of our programs can be performed at home, and opening your mind in those more calm periods to see the bigger picture. Using the BML Power Enhanced training systems together with the BML Mindset training system, you'll maximize strength and muscle growth whilst also developing your thought patterns and processes to help you become much more productive, to feel better about yourself, and to start really liking the man you are becoming, and to really believe in yourself and in what you are doing for perhaps the first ever time truly in your life. Step 4, our continual education and support, which will keep you at the forefront of training techniques, both physical and psychological, whilst also providing any assistance you need when you come up against an obstacle that you don't know how to overcome, or if you simply want a bit of advice. We are always with you on your journey. The TBMOT system is very simply foolproof and has the potential to dramatically grow your body, while at the same time will affect the way you live your life in the most positive and beneficial ways possible, and not just during the program, but also into your long-term future too. This is why the BML Coaching Roadmap, in other words, our unique total body and mind optimization training system, is different than anything you've ever tried before. You see, if you have tried to get a better body in the past, you've obviously failed, as you're giving me the time to help you perhaps change your life and to listen to me now. And I thank you for that. But you failed, and to be fair on you, it was highly likely that you would. Most people do. And that's why less than 10% of the population in the world, say, well, in the UK, who cares, less than 10%, like their body. But with the TBMOT system, if you fulfill your side of the commitment, success is just about guaranteed. So yes, and this is a biggie, if you decide to jump into the program, we do guarantee your results, providing that you show you have put the effort in. Something for you to think about. Okay, so maybe you're thinking, how would you apply this to yourself? Well, that's why we have a coaching call. When we speak, if we speak, I will apply the BML coaching system to meet your exact needs. I'll go away, obviously, after we've spoken, do it. Our program is most certainly not a one-size-fits-all. We don't produce a program and it's the same for everyone. Every single program we devise is built upon our solid framework, but is absolutely bespoke. It's individual and it's unique to the client. We tailor our system to meet your specific requirements, because they're going to be unique to you, to ensure that you reach your goals. And our goal is your success. If you would like to get on a call to see if you're a good fit for one of our programs, then please click on the button and select a time. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. Stay safe. Peace, brothers. And I'll just leave you with a couple of testimonials, I think, some final clips. Thanks for taking your time. if you've got any questions, hit them with me now. Thanks, guys.